welcome to our next walkthrough pattern. Going through this book, Beginner's Guide to Bobbin Lace by Jillian Dye and Adrian Thunder. So we are going to be working on the Torchon with spiders today. And this is what it's going to look like at the end. We're going to have these little guy spiders. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them at the end, and then we're going to have this dark border go around each spider. And we're going to have 2 small spiders and 3 kind of larger spiders. And as you can see on the pattern, we have these little dots here as our center of the spiders. And because my printer was kind of dying towards the end of it, I circled these dots as it is on the pattern in the book. And the book page is 34. So that is the book page that we are going on with the Torchon bookmark with spiders. Alright, and so I'm going to put this guy away. Put my cover cloth down on our pattern so we can have our bobbins in a nice way. So you're going to want 10 bobbins of the same color with 60 inches on them, and then one pair of bobbins with a darker color that will be your border. And you want your pins. I always leave mine off to the side, but you can put it wherever you, as in, is within reach. And so with this bookmark, because it's a Torchon ground bookmark, we are going to go start the same way as the Torchon ground bookmark on page 30. So we will start there and we will do this top guy first. And since this is going to be temporary support pins up here, I'm going to use my pins with the glass bead on them. You can use normal pins. It's whatever works for you. I find this easier for me. And then when you have your pair, you're just going to hold it and kind of let it unravel, kind of swing itself. So you hold it and kind of let it go until it seems to have stopped moving. And we put that on that pin. And then get another pair of the same colors, doing the same thing of holding it, letting it spin. And this is just kind of taking the spin out of the string so it doesn't affect our pattern. And I'm just going to kind of keep them nice and even. Alright, and then here we're going to work a half stitch, which is just a cross twist, and then we are going to put a pin all the way up here at that top guy and do another cross twist, and then we're going to bring that up so you can kind of see those pins, and then I'm going to lift the pin up, let this guy come in, put the pin back, do the same thing the other side. And now we have 2 pairs on one, and we're just going to go down this way. And we are going to do a darker string here at 2, and that is going to be our nice border around the spiders. So we're going to cross twist for our half stitch, and then pin at 2, and then a half stitch again, and then lift this guy up, shimmy him in, tighten, and then do the normal colors, your lighter color, whether it's a light color or not, and we'll just do that all the way down this way. Cross twist for our half stitch, and another. And sometimes I move my pin over to go just kind of make life easier a little bit. Everyone has a difference. Some people keep that pin exactly where it was at the top. You know, it's whatever works best for you. And sometimes I don't leave enough room, so I let that go. And the last one on this side. And tie in. And then we can take that guy out of the way and then move all of our bobbins over, kind of straightening as we go. And we are on this side. Make this a little bit more. And again, we are going to do our border on this guy here, which should be a 7 on the pattern on page 34 if you're following along that way. Again, half stitch. Yeah, it looks like I got twisted in that. Hold on. Yep, okay, that's fine. So, twist, and just continue down our line. These guys are a little short, so I'll extend them. Last one. Alright, and now we have them on. We can move these guys over, and we'll get going. Alright, and then on your pattern, you should have these little circles here and here on either side. We're going to do ground stitch on the pins and diagonal this way and this way until we reach those circles, not including the circles. So our ground stitch is our half stitch like we did before, so cross, twist, pin, and then cross, twist. And then keep going down that diagonal. Alright, and then you see we got to that circle, so we are going to stop, and we are going to go on the other side. And do our ground stitch, half stitch, cross stitch, pin, cross stitch. And make sure as you're going that those pins are leaning back away from you at a 45-degree angle, just to kind of make sure everything's in nice orderly row and the lace doesn't ride up the pins. Alright, and here we are at those pins, and so we are going to do our spider now. So with the spider, we want to put an extra twist in all the bobbins hanging between our two border guys. So all of these pairs need an extra twist. So we are going to just twist once, right over left, 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 and right over left. And these will be our spider's legs, so we are going to work on, so this inner guy here, so if we count, it'll be pin 13 on the pattern, or if you're counting, like, we have our leftmost here, second leftmost, third leftmost. It's our third leftmost pair of bobbins, and we're going to cloth stitch over to the right through all of these guys. So we're going to cloth stitch through this one, and this one, without pinning between all of that. And a cloth stitch is going to be a cross, twist, cross. So cross, twist, cross. You can tighten if you want. Cross, twist, cross. Tighten if you want. Twist, cross. And then tighten. And so we have these three. So we're also going to do the same thing with these guys. So this one is going to go through these three pairs, doing the cloth, stitch, cloth. Cloth, stitch. It's been a day. And just doing three of them. So cross, twist, cross. And there we go. We've done our three, and we're going to do it with our last one as well. Cross, twist, cross. And then we get to tighten. And so we get to pin now. And we are going to want to pin under all of this. So right now, this is the end of it, and we want this to be pinned all the way on that middle pin where that spider is. So it's going to look a little funky. And then we're just going to straighten these by tightening our legs. Alright, you can see it kind of shaping up nicely around that pin. And now that it's all tightened, looks pretty good, pretty even around that, we are going to now do it again. So we're going to close up our spider. Alright, and again we are going to go left to right. So again, your third leftmost pair, or this central bottom pair on the pin, and we're going to do cloth stitch to the right. Cross, twist, cross. Just going to even these guys out. And again, going through 3 pairs. And the last one. Alright, and then we're just going to straighten, kind of make it a little neater. And then you can see how all of our bobbin pairs don't have a twist, but our other guys that we haven't been using do. So we want to make sure we put that twist back in. And with the spider, we're going to do 2 twists at the each. So 1, 2, and just doing that for them all. Making sure they all have 2 twists. Alright, and then we're going to go over to that left side. So that guy here is number 19, is pin 19. So we're going to work a half stitch, so cross, twist, do another twist, and then we are going to pin right on that circle, and then do a half stitch. And this is called a turning stitch, so this guy can continue to frame our spider. So we're going to do the same way over on pin 20. So at 20, we are going to do that turning stitch. Actually, I did the turning stitch wrong over here. I used the wrong pair, so let me retro lace really quick. And that's just unlacing what I did. Okay. So we're back to this point where we have our spiders, and we're going to pick up this guy and do the turning stitch with this one. So we're going to cross, twist, twist, and this will be our turning stitch. Let's just, there we go, that looks a lot better. Alright, and now we can see our border, instead of moving over one like we did down here, it's now in the same location, so we can do our border this way. So I'm going to do the same thing for the right side, or at pin 20, which you do cross, twist, cross, twist, twist, and then we are going to put our pin in, and then cross, twist. And there we have our turning stitch. So now we go here, and then we are going to work ground stitches from pins 20 to 27. So it's just going to go through our spiders. So cross, twist, pin, cross, twist. And as you go, you might have to keep straightening out the spider. And then you want to do 3 on the right side, and then we want to bring our border through the 3 legs on the left side. And that way we meet at an angle rather than going through all 6 with one border. Now we get to meet with our 2 borders in the middle. And as you can see, we have a nice spider here in the middle, and then we have our border going through. Which might not be showing up as good as I thought it was going to when I was practicing the colors before. Because when I was working with the green, it was a little too similar. And before, when I was doing this, it seemed fine, but now as I'm going through the pattern, it's looking not as fine. So maybe I'll have to do black and white next time to really pop the colors. Right, and then now we are going to work our ground stitches on the right hand side. So we're going to go bring these up, grab a little bit higher, and starting on our rightmost. And because it's starting to get too short on me, I'm going to lengthen my bobbins. And sometimes your hitch knot comes off, that's fine. You just put it back on. And now here, as you can see, we got to our circle through, so we want to do a turning stitch. So we're going to do our cross, twist, twist. And then pin, and then cross, twist, and that way our border will go around the spider. Alright, and so since we did the right side, we get to go and do that again on the left side. Bring these guys back over. Kind of lengthen them out because they're a little short on our end guys. And here again we're at our circle, so we want to turn, make a turning stitch, so you a regular half stitch, and then another cross, another twist, a twist. So now we do a cross twist. And the last one. Alright, and then that did our ground stitches for those. So we are now at our spider again. And this spider is only going to have 4 legs instead of the 6 that we had up here. So like in the sample, we had this big guy here, that's our 6 legs, and here we have 4 legs. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that will be our smaller ones. So we'll do a 4-legged spider here. Alright, and so since we're back at our spider, we want to put an extra twist on each pair. So go through, each one gets 1 twist, and then we're going to do our left to right. So before we did the third one in, this time we're just going to do the second one. So second through these 2, and this one through these 2. So cross, twist, cross, making sure it's a cloth stitch here, cross, twist, cross, and then again this pair will go through these 2. And again, we're just going to kind of tighten these guys. I tend to like to tighten them before putting the pin in just to kind of make it easier to pin. But if you want to do like how I did earlier, that's how the book recommends to do it, definitely fine. I just found it tends to make my life easier this way. So we're going to make sure it's nice and even around that pin, and then again, going to go through. And then this one. I'm going to tighten innerwards and then straighten the outers. And there we have a nice spider. And then we are going to twist all of our legs twice, like we did before, so they're no longer straight. And then we are going to go through our border through the 2. And this one's just your regular cloth stitch. I'm going to do these guys. Nice. And now we're at that time where we are going to need to move down our cover cloth. So this gets moved down. And I'm going to move it kind of to our second spider area. You down just a little bit. Alright, just kind of haven't quite figured out how to make that seamless, so eventually I will do it. Alright, and then we'll put our left-hand sides off to the side because we are going to do that ground stitch triangle area, making sure to turn stitch here. And this one is going to be a nice 6-leg spider, so it's going to be a bit bigger than the one we just did, but it will still be super cute. And pretty much we'll just alternate between these 6 and 4-leg spiders until we get to the end and finish. Hold on. It looks like I missed a hole, so I'm just retracing my steps, making sure I did not. That goes here. Okay, so that's our outside. Alright, so before we had done these two here, so these two pins are part of this line, so we need to continue that before doing our next line. So I just didn't stop in the right area for the ground, which is okay. I was able to see that I was missing a pin, and thus we needed to kind of continue our groundwork. So sometimes I get too happy on the groundwork and just keep going past where I probably should for these videos. When you're doing it yourself, it's very easy to just retro lace because no one's there watching you. So no one sees when you mess up. But on these videos, and especially today for some reason, I'm tripping over my words. I'm just kind of, I don't know, not all together. And I'm thinking it's because of the holiday. We just had the new year after Christmas, and I think, your brain just turns off and it doesn't want to turn back on. And I thought it'd be a great time to do these videos when I'm off of work and got time, and here I am tripping over myself and not really doing the best video I can, but that's okay. If it's super, super bad, I'll just redo it eventually. That's how it is. That's life. That's how you know it's a handmade piece, because if there wasn't slight errors as you were going through, it could just be a machine. I always tell people, whenever you see the imperfection, because no one you give this to is going to see the imperfection at all. Unless you royally mess up in such a way that you're not consistent about the mess up, then yeah, maybe. But most of the times, no. They won't see your mess up. So instead of beating yourself up over it, just think that makes it more beautiful. Because it's handmade from you to them. And you gave yourself into it. Very much like the Japanese way of when Japanese or Chinese? Thinking it's Japanese, but I might need to correct that. Again, we're at the turning stitch here, so just make sure cross, twist, twist. But the Japanese way of, if you break pottery, you fix it with gold so that any breaks or imperfections is now more beautiful. So I'm really tempted to continue, but if I continue on this line, we're going to end up the same way, where we're at this pin, but we'll actually be here. So I think I'm going to stop here. That way I can actually see the line that's not finished and not do it again that I had just talked about. So, going on to our left-hand side, or right-hand, depending, you didn't have to follow me. It's a nice symmetrical piece, so if you did something on one side, you're now going to the other side. I went to the right, so now I'm heading to my left. If you felt like doing left before right, now head right. It is your choice. But now we know, since it's symmetrical, since I went too far on this side up here, I probably want to double check before I just start bobbing lacing like crazy. So we can kind of see here that we have these two pins. This is starting this line down, and this is going this line. So we want to finish this line before going to this line. So, since we know it's symmetrical, and we know I probably did it on both sides, now we can catch it before continuing and having to retrolace. Because I already did that one, this is our workers. And we are at that place where we want to do our turning stitch. So we do your cross, twist, twist, pin, and close. And with the spider, make sure that we put our extra twist into each pair. So cross, twist. Man, I'm really bad at my crossing and twisting today. So twist is right over left, cross is left over right, and somehow I keep saying the wrong thing. Alright, and so now, because this is 6 legs that you can see, we want to do our inner one first. So we're going to go this guy over these 3, and then go to this one, and then this one. Only doing these 3 legs through each one. So, and again, it's going to be a cloth stitch. So cross, twist, cross, cross, twist, cross, cross, twist, cross. I just like to kind of tighten it up here because that just makes me feel better. It might not actually help anything, but it makes me feel like it helps. Now we're going to put our pin through these 2 here, and then we want to make sure that we are straightening up the legs so that it's nice and symmetrical, and just kind of shimmy each bobbin. You can kind of see it working its way through it. And doing each bobbin, tightening with a finger, and it kind of helps tighten everything up. Alright, over here again. Okay. And then going to go through and do our 3-on-3. Right, and because we are finished with our spider, but they don't have twists on our pairs and our outside does, we want to do our 2 twists. Alright, and then whichever side you want to work through, you definitely can. We'll just take our border and take it around the spider. I'm making sure to only do 3 of the spider legs so that you can match up the other border on that point. Bring these 2 together and our points. And again, we're going to do our groundwork. So put our, whichever side you don't want to work off to the side. And then bring your other one in your working zone. Alright, again we are at our turning stitch, so cross, twist, twist. And again, I'm going to stop there. And then we're just going to move these guys up and out of the way. And when you move your bobbins, you want to make sure you move them together so you don't get twisted up with anything. A lot of people use bobbin holders when you're moving things off and out to the side like this. Some bobbin holders are crocheted where you put the bobbin in the hole. I haven't had any issues so far, but again, these are not a whole lot of bobbins. If I had working on like a 32 piece, I'd probably be using a holder like that. Alright, and we do it on this side. And again, we're here at our turning stitch. So cross, twist, twist. And cross, twist. And then we'll leave these here. And now we are at our spider. So this is our 4-legged spider again. So we are going to twist, 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 and then do our cloth stitch. Alright, and again we're going to close the spider. And then don't forget to put your 2 twists on each leg. And then we are going to finish our border. And again, we're going to move our cloth down. Alright, move it up just slightly because I went too far. Okay. There we go. Again, we're going to move our left side out of the way and start working on our right side. Just going to loosen some of my bobbins so they're not quite so short. And I tend to get them all about the same length when I'm lengthening all of them. Just tends to make life a little easier for me. again, add our turning stitch, so cross, twist, twist. Alright, now we are going to move these guys over. And do our other side. Again, you might want to lengthen yours. And again, our turning stitch, which cross, twist, twist. And finish up with a normal cross twist. And then we are going to do our last spider on this bookmark. So again, make sure you put one twist in each leg. And twist is right over left. And then we are going to, you guessed it, do this third one from the left. So you have the 1, 2, third from the left here. So we go through these 3. With a cross, twist, cross. And then our second one. Alright, and then our third one. Alright, and then you put your pin and kind of tighten everybody up, making sure we are all happy. Doing each one at a time, kind of making sure they're all where they should be. And if you're doing it on one side, try to do the same thing on the other side. So if you're doing like the innermost pairs, you do them together, and as you go. Alright, and we're going to close our spider, going from left to right. Doing the exact same way that we started our first half of the spider. Doing our third from the left through 3 pairs. And then just kind of going through until all 3 have passed the other 3. I guess the 3 from the left have passed the 3 on the right. And all bobbins have ended up where they started from. Again, making sure to kind of give everything its nice tightness, making sure everything is good and where it's at. And then with that, we'll do 2 twists to match on every leg. And then we will go on one side and finish our border. Then making sure to only do 3 legs so that we can meet in the middle with our other border. And then we meet in the middle. Alright, and then we still have a bit to go, some more around, so we're just going to finish up those holes and just kind of ground stitch. And this kind of doing that extra line, I'm trying to find a good way to put it. Okay. So here we have our borders on the edge and then a diamond, and then down here we have our borders and at the edges here, and then our diamond here. So borders and here, here, and here, so we kind of make it symmetrical. So our bottom looks like our top, minus the tassels. We're adding the tassels on the bottom. And with that, we want to kind of let it sit for 24 hours, just to kind of let the lace breathe and kind of get there before finishing and taking it off the lace. I know that the book mentions that once all the holes are done, you can now just go through, remove your bobbins, and then do your tassels, which is fine. You can definitely do that, but I find that my tassels become very unruly, like here. This still sat for 24 hours with the bobbins on to straighten them, and it's still kind of like a little crazy. So I feel like if I do it now, it's just gonna be even more wild than this, and this is already wild enough for me. So if you like wild and kind of out of control tassels, you can definitely do it now. Otherwise, we will wait 24 hours and then finish up. And with you, if you're going to wait the 24 hours, you definitely want to make sure to cover your lace. So I have another cloth, working cloth, that my mom got me. Parents are in Michigan, and that's where I grew up. So she got me a nice little Michigan cloth to kind of cover it and be a cute thing. It was supposed to be a dish towel, but I think it's too cute to make it messy, so I'm using it as my color cloth instead. And I will see you guys in 24 hours. Dun, dun, dun. Move our cover cloth, and we are going to finish up our project. So we are going to kind of lengthen our bobbins so we can kind of have an even cut throughout. We'll probably cut the tassels shorter, but for me, I like to kind of have the same length to start, and then I can shorten it later depending on how it looks, how it feels, kind of the general look. But I like starting out with the same length, roughly the same length, just because it makes me feel better. So if I end up messing on one, and having it slightly shorter, I can make the other slightly shorter too, and it doesn't really kind of mess anything up. And we are going to do a slightly different ending on our bookmark here. We're going to do knots at our last pin, which is kind of cool. It's definitely a different way of finishing, which I always like. Learning different ways makes it better. So we're going to start by kind of joining them up, and then I do the whole hairdresser thing of pulling it straight and then cutting it. And then we put our bottoms off to the side. And we are going to start with 2. And you're going to want to get a pin. Let me move this down a little so it's a little bit better. So we have a pin here. And we are going to make a knot. So we're going to kind of wrap it through. Actually, this might have been easier with the bobbins, but alright, I'm going to see if my crochet hook makes this easier. That's probably too small of a crochet hook. So let me get my larger one and see if that makes life easier. Alright, so it does. So if you need to, you can always grab a crochet hook. And then you're going to slide your needle up towards that bobbin and tighten up to where that needle is, so it'll come up. And there you have a nice knot at the top, and we'll just do that for each one. You'll just grab 2 strands. And then take our needle and kind of guide that knot up and tighten it. And you can always play with it too. You can always, like one time, we can try cutting the bobbins and doing it this way, or making the knots with the bobbins attached, which might make it easier, but, you know, you play with it, try it a couple times, see what you like. And definitely crochet hooks are your friend. I did not have crochet hooks before starting bobbin lace, so you don't actually have to be a crocheter to get these hooks. And they just kind of help grab the thread a little bit easier. And I initially got them because I was doing beading work with bobbin lace, and you need a nice thin, you need a crochet hook for that, which I believe we did the bookworm pattern, so if you haven't looked at that, that involves crochet hooks there, using crochet hooks and beads in our pattern. So if you did that, you probably have that crochet hook lying around. It's always, one side is always a little more difficult than the other to get the knot, just because you're more dominant one way versus the other. And there we go. And we did the tassels. So that is nicely, and we can now depin or unpin. It's whatever you want to call it. So usually do a couple at a time. You don't have to. You can go one by one. I usually either hold the lace with my fingers or grab some kind of wooden thing to hold it down. Could be a pen, a pencil. It could even be a bobbin you're not using, just to kind of help hold it down and keep its shape while you're taking things out. And let me move the camera down a little bit so you can see. Maybe do this guy here. So I always forget that I need the white cover in order for the colors to pop better with the camera. I'm not sure if it's the camera or the recording program, because it's a pretty nice camera that my husband got me. But whichever, we're getting it to work. And usually I like picking up the pins in that diagonal line that we were working. It tends to make life easier that way. And And if you're grabbing a whole bunch of pins and realizing that it's sticking or not quite there, definitely take less pins. Because you don't want to ruin your lace because you're trying to make the end part faster. Because that would be terrible. Spend all that time making a gorgeous bookmark lace to add to any other project you're doing and just completely disfigured at the end. Oh, that would be so awful. I haven't done it yet, knock on wood, and I hope I never do, because I think that would actually make me cry. And actually, like, as you've seen on these videos, these things don't take super long either. So, like our small sample things, bookmarks, things like that don't take super long, but I know there's some people that make lace that just goes, like, yards and yards of lace. And it would just be very, very sad for that. And there we have it. That is, let's see if we move this up. Will it look better? Yeah, it looks pretty good. So, we have our green. You can kind of see here. The blue. And you can see the border a little bit better here. As you see, our tassels are a lot longer than this. And it's however you want. You want to keep it long, you can definitely keep it long. If not, you can make it better. Now it looks like I missed a pin here. Or just maybe tightened strangely. But like, as you can see, like, from project to project, this looks a little bit different than this one, and that's just because of tensioning how you are feeling that day, your string. And while they have the same kind of motifs and things going on, it's not going to be one-to-one each project. They'll be very similar. And as long as you're not taking out your other samples and being like, see, here, this is, this area is a little bit more funky than this area, no one's really going to notice. And if it bothers you, you can always do another project. And it'll be better practice for you and make you feel better about your product. So that is the Torchon bookmark with spiders. And not these ones I'm terribly afraid of. Nice little motif spiders with your border. And hope you enjoyed this. Hope you found it informative. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And I hope you stay tuned for the next pattern I'm going to be doing, which is the Torchon bookmark with diamonds. So instead of these spider motifs, we're going to do diamonds instead, which is pretty fun. Super cool. I will see you guys all in the next video. Bye.